Hello, and welcome to the Winter Injury Prevention Training through CU Boulder Facilities Management and Outdoor Services. We're creating this training digitally this year. Normally we do this in a live environment, but we hope that this will reach more people inside and outside of facilities management.
Today we will be speaking with Safety Officer Chris Cox about the importance of dressing in layers, Chad Medina with University Risk Management about filing on-job injury claims. I'll be going over snow and ice removal, and the guys at our group will be going over the importance of proper shoveling and lifting techniques.
I hope that you can take something away from this training and apply it to every day you're on the job, working in and around our campus in a snowy, icy environment. Enjoy.
Hi everybody, my name is Chris Cox, Safety Officer for Facilities Management. I'm here today to talk to you about the importance of dressing in layers and a little bit about hydration in the Colorado winter. So let's get rolling. First off, you always want to start out with your base layer. There's 3 layers that you want to think about. Your base layer, your middle layer, which is your insulation layer, and then your third layer, which would be your shelter layer. Your base layer always starts out whatever's against your skin. So like your socks, you'll want a nice pair of wool socks or a good synthetic that wicks the liquid away from your body, away from your skin. There's some synthetic fibers that do the same thing as that, so look for something with a wicking property to pull moisture away from your skin. After you get all your under layer on, then you're going to move on to your middle layer, which is your insulation area. And what you're going to do with that is you're going to want a good fleece. A fleece or a good goose down works awesome for that. And you want it to be fairly thin because you're going to put another layer over the top for the most part. What that does is insulates your body, it keeps it warm. Your under layer is pulling the liquid away from your skin. This one's keeping you warm through insulation. After you get your fleece on, and you still need more because it's still Colorado and it's cold, then you got to reach up for your shelter layer. And your sheltering is a good polyester blend, or it can also be wool or fleece, something really breathable, because you don't want it to where it doesn't breathe, or else you get moisture built up underneath your jacket, which ends up making you wet, then you get cold and you freeze, and your body has to work hard to warm yourself back up. So you want your outer layer to be something for wind and rain, where it'll just roll off. Once you get all those layers on, obviously you still are unprotected on your head. So remember here, you put a hood on. The best is a stocking cap, a nice tight fitting stocking cap to keep all the heat in. As everybody knows, heat goes right out the top of your head. We don't want that to happen. Along with the stocking cap, a really good set of gloves. That keeps the water. They've got to be waterproof, keeps the moisture out off your hand, and the more moisture you can keep off your hand, the warmer they'll stay. Along with gloves, so as you're walking around campus shoveling snow or just walking to and from the building, we also like that you try to use some of these traction straps on your shoes. It keeps you from slipping, it gives you good traction walking around, and just overall a safer way to go across campus. After you get all that on, you want to be sure that you've hydrated. Hydration in Colorado is very important. People think that in the summertime, that's the most important time to do it, and that is important. However, winter is very important too, because in the wintertime, your body has to work hard to warm up the cold air that you breathe in. Once you breathe it in, then your body's working harder, using up its own moisture to warm that air, and so you dehydrate faster. So be sure you drink a lot of fluids, throw down some Gatorade, some water. If you know it's going to snow the next day and there's a good chance you'll be in here shoveling, drink a lot of water that night before you come in. Just watch the weather reports. That's all I have for you today. Keep safe across the campus and stay warm.
Thanks, Chris. Here's some takeaways from the importance of dressing in layers. 1. There are 3 layers you need to remember: base layer, middle layer, and the shelter layer. 2. Your outer layer protects from rain, wind, and snow. 3. Hydration is very important in Colorado. Be sure to hydrate before, during, and after performing work. Now let's send it over to the guys at Arbor for a quick look at proper shoveling techniques and lifting techniques.
Hi, my name is Andrew Eaton. I'm a physical therapist with Arbor Occupational Medicine. I'm clinic director here in Boulder with Alpha Rehabilitation. And we are going to be discussing how to avoid winter injuries with basic active warm-ups and stretches and some very basic ergonomic positions and things to avoid. some basic things that you can do to warm up the muscles, ligaments, and tendons involve some stretching of the low back and hips. First, you can start out with 5 repeated back extensions. You just hold a few seconds and return. Good. And you want to keep the knees straight on that. The focus is on the bend of the back. And then you can reverse that and do a forward bend and stretch out 5 times down to the toes and hold slightly, no bouncing, just and return back up. Avoid back injuries while lifting heavier objects from low. Are one, to keep the chest forward, so we know to bend the knees, but plenty of times people bend the knees but bend the back as well. If you lead with the chest up, it avoids bending the low back forward, which puts more of the pressure on the intervertebral disc again and can cause herniation. Some tips to avoid when doing some heavier snow shoveling: you want to avoid bending over too far. You want to keep the shovel close, and you want to avoid the scoop and twist because of the risk that that puts on your intervertebral disc of the low back and the pressure it creates.
Thanks, guys. Remember, everybody, before you start, be sure to stretch and use proper lifting techniques. Now we're headed over to the Office of University Risk Management, where Chad Medina will go over the procedures for submitting OJI claims.
I'm Chad Medina, and I work for University Risk Management. Our office handles the insurance for the university. Most slip and fall claims occur on campus on stairs, parking lots, and sidewalks. Mainly we see these around heavy traffic areas like the UMC and the stadium. You know, I think the most important thing to remember is if you're injured on the job, it affects more than just your job, and it affects your fellow employees, but it also affects your home life. Injuries affect everything. If you are injured on the job and it's an emergency, we encourage you to seek emergency medical treatment, and you don't need authorization to call an ambulance or go to the emergency room. We also need to get a claim filed immediately, and so we'd like you to notify your supervisor of this, and you can file a claim through the University of Risk Management's website. You can also file a claim directly through Facilities Management's website. Employees have their choice of designated medical providers. Currently there's 4, we call them DMPs available, and these are all close and in town. If it's an emergency, they can always go to the emergency room, but if it's not emergency and if it's for follow-up care, they can go to the one of 4 designated medical providers. So I think the main things to remember is to file the claim, to let your supervisor know. I want the employees to know that they have a choice of which designated medical provider they'd like to see. We want them to make sure to follow all the guidelines and the treatments that the DMP gives them. And we also want to know, that, the employees are very valuable here in their job, and getting hurt on the job, nobody wants to see that, and it affects the department, it affects their fellow employees, but it also affects their home life.
Thanks, Chad. Here are some takeaways. If you're injured on the job, it impacts more than just your work. It also impacts your home life. 2, most slip and fall claims occur on campus stairs, parking lots, and sidewalks. 3, while visiting a doctor is not required after an injury, filing a claim is required. Before we wrap up, let's take a quick look at snow and ice removal around campus. In facilities management, there's a few things we really need to focus on. 1, we need to have all of our entryways at least 50% open with a handrail included by 8 a.m. We also need to have all the ADA compliant entrances open 100% of the way by 8 a.m. By 10 a.m., we should double back and have all entrances 100% of the way open, and ice melt should be applied anytime we do shovel work. When applying ice melt, please be cautious not to overuse that. In a sustainable manner, we need to be careful we're not causing damage to stone and concrete around the building entrances. When you're shoveling snow, be sure to throw it all the way over any walls that border the staircases or get it off of the sidewalk. In future sunny days, that snow will melt and refreeze on the sidewalk time and time again, causing a slip hazard. In review, we need to get 50% opening by 8 a.m., including 100% on all ADA compliant entrances. And by 10 a.m., we should have everything 100% of the way open. Ice melt is always applied, whether it's at 8 a.m. or 10 a.m. Thanks, guys.